Hello guys, welcome back to the Epic Film Story channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about a fantasy action movie called Fake Brick Spare 3, which was released in 2024. For those of you who haven't watched the first and second movie trailers, you can watch it first on the playlist I've made. So in this third movie, it's about Xiao Yan who tries to save his friends and also avenge his mother. How is the story overall? Out of curiosity, let's take a look at the plot. At the beginning of the film, we are seen with Xiao Yan Muli and King Lin, who is slaughtering the citizens because Xiao Yan has managed to reunite the sect of snakes and humans. Xiao Yan then finds Yu Lao or Yu Chen to watch him drink purple pistachio liquid. Yu Lao also tells him to be careful because there are only 2 bottles of purple pistachio liquid left. But unfortunately, when he wanted to drink it, the white snake, Kailin, actually took him away. Xiao Yan quickly chased him. Then before Kailin grew up, he immediately took him away from the village and dropped him in the desert. However, it was unexpected that he was actually chased by Kailin until Xiao Yan made a mess. 141, namely the Buddha's fire lotus, which made him fall helplessly. But because of that, the white snake Kailin also obeyed him again. Uli and King Lin also immediately came and helped him. However, from a distance, there was an old man named Dong Bu who was waiting for them. That night, Xiao Yan was with his 2 sisters, namely Xiao Li and Xiao Ding. As usual, the 2 sisters kept asking him to go home. But Xiao Yan was still determined to avenge his mother's murder. He even admitted that he couldn't sleep because he was constantly haunted by his guilt. Therefore, Xiao Yan would not go home before finding out who killed his mother. Hearing that, of course, made the 2 sisters feel bad. Then Xiao Ding gave him his share as his travel allowance. Then Xiao Li only gave him money because he had nothing to give to Xiao Yan. Meanwhile, elsewhere, King Lin was neutralizing the devil's blood that was in Muli's body so that Muli would not lose control because only King Lin could control him. So, Muli didn't become a bloodthirsty monster. Muli, of course, was very grateful to King Lin because this time he was 12 days older than before. Then, according to King Lin, the aura filled Muli's heart slowly began to fade. King Lin then told Muli to forget his revenge. After helping Muli to fall asleep, suddenly King Lin saw the future where Muli stabbed Xiao Yan. He immediately went because he was surprised to know about it. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Xiao Yan was busy thinking about how to control the green lotus fire that was on him. God also told JK that this monster had to be controlled carefully because it could attack itself. God even made JK realize that Xiao Yan's progress was very rapid. But that was also because he was the master for it. But unfortunately, God could not continue to help Xiao Yan. And one day, Xiao Yan had to rely on himself. You're so creative. By that time, you'll understand. After all, you've been improving rapidly for a while. That's the reason. Let's go back to King Lin, who tried to advise Muli so that he wouldn't live just to avenge his revenge. King Lin just wanted Muli to be Lao Bu, Muli's real name, who was a helper, even helped people he just knew, like when Muli helped him from the sand monster. Hearing that, Muli only promised King Lin that he would be Lao Bu in front of him. After a long time, Xiao Yan's bath water suddenly froze. According to Yao Lao, someone tried to attack him by using the energy of war to freeze the silk thread and control the water from afar to fight with Xiao Yan. Where Xiao Yan's opponent was a water element fighter. Because fire and water were in conflict, Xiao Yan had to use the blue lotus fire to check the silk thread, which would automatically find the opponent. At that time, Muli lost King Lin, who turned out to be kidnapped by someone. He rushed to chase him. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan finally found the opponent. He immediately used Juris to combine the weird fire he made. But unfortunately, Xiao Yan was paralyzed, because the Juris he made was not strong enough. Finally, Xiao Yan threw the white snake, Kailin, to drink the purple crystal liquid to turn into a big one and help him attack the opponent. Unexpectedly, the opponent fled. It didn't take long before Muli managed to stop the kidnapper, but unfortunately, the power he had was not enough to compete with him. In the morning, Muli told Xiao Yan what happened last night where the kidnapper had 6 hands. Xiao Yan thought this was an accident because he was also attacked. According to Xiao Yan, King Lin may be very important to them. Then God told them to find the seller of the map, who is not an ordinary person. He also told him if he even knew who attacked him last night, because a fighter who can turn a drop of water into an iceberg can only be counted in this world. And the possibility that the person who attacked Xiao Yan was one of the 10 strongest fighters on the island of Jiama. Then before he lost, there was an elite emperor, Hai Dongbo, who now pretended to be the seller of the map. Xiao Yan and Muli also told if King Lin was kidnapped by his friend, but Dongbo still pretended not to understand what they said. However, because the two of them forced Dongbo eventually wanted to help him with tools for Kai Lin. He then created if he was once one of the men, and now become old also because of Kai Lin. Dongbo even knew who kidnapped King Lin when he saw the stolen item that was left behind, where the kidnapper was in the city of Kai Yan, even the ruler of the city of Kai Yan, which is Mo Chang. The scene then changed where a man named Mo Chang, one of the responsible people outside the Yutlan sect with the energy of the five-star soul, was trying to do a trick that was helped by his female assistant, where he gave a cup of tea that could relieve the pain to his target, then cut the target's arm silently. According to Dongbo, Mo Chang often amputated people who were still alive in order to get organs that are uniquely capable to be used by himself. So most likely, King Lin has been targeted by Mo Chang, especially before the Snake Tribe was often traded to be used as an experiment by him. And finally, Xiao Yan and Muli hurried to the city of Kaiyan. However, they did not visit to find the city. Dongbo, who was worried, followed them both. Until not long after, Manta's car came and the three of them took it for free. Unexpectedly, the car was indeed tasked to take the gamblers into the city. Then on the way, Xiao Yan whispered about Dongbo's relationship with Keelan. Dongbo also told the events of decades ago where his energy struggle had reached perfection. Even all people as the 10 greatest agents and 10 guardians in the kingdom of Jiama. Before continuing, Dongbo asked Xiao Yan whether Keelan was really experiencing amnesia. Xiao Yan also told him about it. And finally, Dongbo continued his story where in the Bright he met Keelan, the best snake sect expert. Even their strength was equal. Initially, Dongbo could defeat Keelan. However, he was unable to hurt her. Where at that time, Keelan could not yet handle the energy struggle smoothly, which led to pulling the attack in a hurry. As a result, Dongbo was attacked and injured his energy, and his attack managed to stop his energy struggle. That's what made him change from the original Emperor Stampan to an old man who sold pettas in the city of Simo. Then, soon after, they also arrived in the city of Xi'an, the #1 city in the world. They then took the opportunity to walk around for a while. However, Xiao Yan was angry when he saw things that made him angry until he wanted to destroy the place to its roots. Dongbo also introduced the city a little to Xiao Yan, who turned out to use the Moshun Casino as its core. Then he gathered various criminals, murderers, gamblers, rulers, also robbers, and human traffickers. Therefore, this city was called the Heaven of Criminals. In fact, female snakes were trafficked in the city and made as slaves or prostitutes. Because of that, Dongbo also hoped that someday Xiao Yan could really destroy this city. After that, they also looked for a way to enter the Moking headquarters. Dongbo then explained the Moking Casino, which had 4 floors, and each floor did its own job. Where the first floor was entertainment for ordinary people, the second floor was used by the guest Narit Tama, who could use energy to fight. Then, the third floor was where Moking lived, and the fourth floor never had anyone who went to that floor. However, the impatient monk eventually decided to go alone looking for King Lin. Then, when the meal was served, suddenly Yaola had an idea to ask Xiao Yan to make an old monk's pill and give it to Dongbo to make him young again. Xiao Yan then convinced him because Lin's energy was lacking and weakened Dongbo's strength. So, the pill would make him young again so that he could enter Mochung's finally. Xiao Yan made the pill with the food served while Mulin sneaked in pretending to be the casino keeper. The scene then changed where King Lin was quietly held by Gugu to help him take the key and free himself. Then, after he succeeded, he also helped to release the others. However, before he could open the key, King Lin was actually caught by another guard. But quickly, Mulin immediately followed him from behind and helped King Lin. Unfortunately, they were caught by one of Mokung's children. Finally, Mulin was also brought down and met Mokung. However, it was not expected that this Mokang was the son of Yunshan, who had helped to watch over Mulin. In fact, he was the one who gave his hand to Mulin. Then, when Mulin asked King Lin to return, Mokang said he would return King Lin if he had taken his eyes. Then, Mulin was thrown out. After that, Mulin, frustrated, tried to lure Yunshan out by trying to hurt himself. And it didn't take long for Yunshan to finally reveal himself. Here Mulin asked Yunshan to watch over King Lin. However, Yunshan could not help outside the promise. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan also managed to make a recovery pill. Then, because the effect was too strong, Xiao Yan asked Dongbo to eat half of it. However, before Xiao Yan finished speaking, Dongbo actually ate all of it. As a result, Dongbo was made young again, but with a smaller body size. Xiao Yan, panicking, immediately made a pill to make Dongbo grow back again. And yes, in the end, Dongbo became one of the heroes without coming back. At that time, Mulin also came back and was surprised to see Dongbo's appearance. Then he immediately told if King Lin was on the 4th floor, and he then asked Xiao Yan to save King Lin. Not long after that, Xiao Yan and Dongbo also sneaked in to carry out their actions. First of all, they had to win a bet of 30 million because every year of Mo Cheng's birthday, all the rich people in the 1,000-mile radius had to win to get 30 million so that they could go up to the 3rd floor. They won both the first and second bets. Then, they continued to the race arena for the gold medal. They then chose the medal for the bet, and each of them will race using their fighting energy to win it. And who would have thought the two of them would eventually win the bet and get 30 million? On the other hand, Mo Cheng was preparing his operation to take King Lin's eyes, that is, the eyes of 3 rare green snake flowers. Then, King Lin will give those eyes as long as Mo Cheng doesn't hurt his friends. Mo Cheng then explained that if the eyes of 3 green snake flowers could see the future, everyone except himself would die. After that, King Lin was made to sleep by him. Meanwhile, Muli was involved in a battle with Mo Cheng's son, where Muli's hand turned into an animal and bit him. That proved that the animal blood on Muli's body was still there. Not long after, Xiao Yan, Muli, and Dongbo went to the 3rd floor where they made a fuss to invite Mo Cheng. And yes, finally, the 3 of them faced Mo Cheng. However, Xiao Yan, with his stupidity, actually said the truth if he asked King Lin back. But Mo Cheng didn't care about it until suddenly they blew up the place and made everyone run away and ended with a fierce battle with Mo Cheng. But unfortunately, their power couldn't defeat Mo Cheng. Until the day Mo Cheng brought the 3 of them to the 4th floor, the place where the operation took place. Then, without realizing it, Mo Cheng's finger reminded Xiao Yan of the incident where his mother was killed. Then, when Mo Cheng managed to take one of King Lin's eyes, Xiao Yan immediately spilled the liquid of purple crystal, which was immediately consumed by the white snake, Kai Lin. At that time, the white snake, Kai Lin, grew bigger and involved in a fierce battle with Mo Cheng. But again, Mo Cheng's power was not defeated until the white snake, Kai Lin, became powerless and turned into Kai Lin. Xiao Yan was also angry when he found out that Mo Cheng was his mother's killer. He then released the power of his emotion, where Xiao Yan managed to release a strange fire from a strong emotion, hatred, love, which he called the lotus fire of the Buddha. Xiao Yan and Mo Cheng argued over the power until Xiao Yan managed to defeat him and ruined Mo Cheng's casino. However, when Xiao Yan fell, suddenly God released his power to help Xiao Yan. He said if he couldn't help Xiao Yan forever and was afraid Xiao Yan had to control himself, and then God's shadow was gone. Soon Xiao Yan also woke up from the collapse of the building. Then God appeared and said if his fighting energy had run out. He then interrogated Xiao Yan if he also wanted to avenge his revenge. However, he remembered Xiao Yan's mother's message that could not be rejected, namely the mission to protect Xiao Yan. God even knew that his mother's enemy was stronger than he imagined.